Once upon a time, nestled in a quiet, sun-drenched farmyard, a mother duck sat patiently on her nest. The air was warm, and the farm buzzed with the gentle sounds of a new day. One by one, her precious eggs began to crack open. With tiny chirps, 5 soft yellow ducklings tumbled out, their downy feathers like little balls of sunshine. They were cheerful and lively, just as ducklings should be. But one egg remained. It was much larger than the others, and it took a very long time to show any sign of life. Mother Duck waited and waited, warming it with her body. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, a crack appeared, then another and another, until the shell broke apart. Out came a duckling, but he was not like his brothers and sisters. He wasn't soft and yellow. Instead, he was a clumsy gray color, with big, awkward feet and a long, skinny neck. The 5 yellow ducklings stopped their playful pecking and stared. He looked strange. One of them whispered to another, "He's so." Gray chirped a third, Mother Duck looked at her lastborn. He was different. It was true, but he was still her child. She tried to welcome him into the family, but it wasn't easy. The other animals on the farm noticed his unusual appearance right away. The proud rooster strutted by and crowed. "What an odd-looking bird." The fluffy white chickens clucked amongst themselves. "You're not like us," they said, pecking at the ground and ignoring him. Even the pigs in their pen oinked with amusement when he waddled past. The little gray duckling felt a deep loneliness settle over him. He tried to play with his siblings, but they would splash away from him in the pond, quacking. "Go away, you ugly duckling," who'd watch them from the reeds, his heart heavy with sadness. Why was he so different? Why didn't anyone want to be his friend? He looked at his reflection in the water and saw the gray feathers and the long neck that everyone made fun of. He truly believed he was ugly. As the days turned into weeks, the teasing never stopped. Everywhere he went, the other animals would point and laugh. He felt like an outsider in his own home. One morning, with his head hung low, he decided he couldn't stay on the farm any longer. He needed to find a place where he could belong, a place where no one would judge him for how he looked. So, he left the farm behind and began to wander. He waddled through vast green fields and swam in cool, clear ponds, always searching. He was all alone in the big, wide world. Soon, he came across a group of wild ducks resting by a river. Hope fluttered in his chest. Maybe they will accept me, he thought. He swam closer and tried to say hello. But the wild ducks just looked at his gray feathers and large size and quacked, "You're too big and clumsy to be one of us." And they flew away, leaving him alone once more. He continued his journey, feeling more lost than ever. He met a flock of geese, preparing for their long flight south. He watched them, admiring their strong wings and organized formation. He timidly approached them. Birds. They just honked loudly and told him to get out of their way. "You don't belong with geese," they squawked. His heart ached. He traveled for what felt like miles, his little feet sore and his spirit weary. One day, he stumbled upon a small cottage where a kind old woman lived with her cat and a hen. The woman saw the lonely duckling and took pity on him. She brought him inside, giving him food and a warm place to rest. For a little while, the duckling felt a glimmer of hope. But the cat and the hen were not so welcoming. "Can you lay eggs like me?" clucked the hen. "Can you purr and catch mice like me?" hissed the cat. When the duckling admitted he couldn't do either, they told him he was useless and had no place in the cottage. With a heavy heart, he left the cottage and wandered back into the wilderness. The vibrant colors of summer began to fade. The leaves on the trees turned brilliant shades of red and gold before falling to the ground. Autumn had arrived, and a chill was in the air. The little duckling knew that winter was coming, and he had nowhere to go. One evening, as the sun was setting in a blaze of orange and pink, he saw a breathtaking sight. A flock of magnificent white birds soared across the sky. They had long, graceful necks and huge, powerful wings. They were the most beautiful creatures he had ever seen. He watched them until they disappeared over the horizon, feeling a strange pull in his heart, a longing to be with them. "Oh, I wish I could be as beautiful as they are," he sighed to himself, "even if they would just peck me for being so ugly." Winter arrived with a harsh, biting wind and a thick blanket of snow. The world turned white and frozen. The poor ducklings struggled to find food and shelter. The ponds and lakes froze over, trapping him in the cold. He found a small hollow among the reeds by a frozen lake and huddled there, shivering, trying to stay alive. The days were short and dark, and the nights were long and bitterly cold. He was weak and hungry, but he held on, dreaming of the warm sun and the beautiful white birds. Finally, after a long and difficult winter, the first signs of spring appeared. The sun began to shine a little warmer each day. Thick ice on the lakes started to melt, creating shimmering pools of water. The trees began to grow new leaves, and the world slowly came back to life. The duckling felt the warmth on his feathers and stretched his stiff body. He felt stronger than he had before. He waddled to the edge of the lake and dipped his head in for a drink. As he did, he saw a reflection in the clear, still water. But it wasn't the same reflection he remembered. It wasn't a clumsy, grey, awkward bird staring back at him. He gasped. In the water, he saw a stunningly beautiful white bird with a long, elegant neck and sleek, pure white feathers. He turned his head, and the reflection did the same. He flapped his wings, and the magnificent wings in the water flapped back. He couldn't believe his eyes. He was a grey, ugly duckling anymore. He had grown and transformed. He was a swan. Just then, 3 of the beautiful white birds he had seen in the autumn sky landed gracefully on the lake beside him. He felt shy and bent his head down, expecting them to tease him. But they didn't. Instead, they swam around him with kind eyes. "You are beautiful," one of them said. "Come and join us. You are one of us." For the first time in his life, he felt a sense of belonging. The once ugly duckling lifted his head with pride. He wasn't an outcast anymore. He spread his powerful new wings, feeling their strength, and with a joyful cry, he rose into the air. He joined the other swans, gliding effortlessly across the bright blue sky. Looking down, he saw the farm where he was born, the fields where he had wandered, and the lake where he had survived the winter. He had finally found his true family, the place where he belonged. And as he soared high above the world, he knew he was happy at last. Thank you for watching our story today. If you enjoyed it, please give us a like and subscribe for more wonderful tailies. See you next time.